Archangel Michael warning you from last 2 days. You are ignoring him. Don't do this that time unless you get. You heard the wind shift 2 days ago, though you told yourself it was nothing. But the clouds that bled silver at dusk were not merely weather, they were warnings wrapped in celestial sorrow. The moon trembled behind torn clouds, as if it, too, had witnessed what you refused to accept. Something ancient brushed against your dreams, and yet you awoke and shook it off like dust. You told yourself not to look at the clock when it struck the same time again and again, not to read the sharp pattern in the way birds broke formation above you. But Archangel Michael says, this was not random, this was mercy knocking twice. He stood over you while you slept, a sentinel of fire and grief, watching your silence more than your sin. Your name was whispered in the chambers of higher realms, and still, you did not tremble. But now the veil begins to thin and what you buried in avoidance rises, torn open by time and sealed judgment. A blue flame was left at your threshold, unseen by earthly eyes but burning into the fabric of your soul. You stepped over it and went on with your day. But the moment you crossed that threshold without reverence, something ancient inside you began to bend, and now it creaks like old wood in the wind of coming truth. Michael did not arrive with soft feathers and lullabies, he arrived armored, halo cracked from warfare not of this world. He knocked once in the dream you can't remember, then again in the voice you dismissed as coincidence. You are on the edge now, suspended between mercy's last breath and judgment's first shout. God says, you have two choices, but only one will cost you nothing. The other demands everything you clung to out of fear, pride, comfort, distraction, avoidance, and the lie you told yourself about timing. This is not about readiness, it's about obedience before the storm. The signs were sent not once but over and over, a crow circling at midnight, the number that haunted your receipts, the light bulb that flickered only when you passed beneath. Your logic strangled them into silence, but your soul heard and shuddered. Now, it remembers what your mind still refuses. You are not late yet, but you are close to the edge. And once you fall past this turning, the spiral will tighten, and every voice of guidance will sound like thunder too distant to reach. Michael watched you hesitate in the in-between, but no more time can be bought with excuses. A name has been spoken against you in places you cannot see, someone who pretends to love you wears the mask of betrayal. You feel it when they speak sweetly but leave you drained, heavy, unsure. Michael says, that presence siphons light from your purpose, let them go before they anchor you to ruin. This is the hour of decision, not delay. You've been marked for a rising, but rising demands shedding. Everything not born of truth will fight to cling to you now. And you must be willing to watch it burn. The winds are no longer whispers, they are cries tearing through realms. Something sacred is aligning with something ancient in you, but it cannot descend while false comfort still occupies your sacred space. God says, I will not pour pure oil into a vessel that tolerates poison. There is a reason your peace has felt hollow, your laughter like echo, your rest like waiting. It is because your soul was not built to live in compromise, it was built to host the divine. The longer you resist, the louder the rupture becomes. Michael stands again tonight, sword drawn, eyes weeping flames. He does not beg, he warns. This is the second time. There will not be a third without consequence. Your name is still written in light, but light grows dim when veiled in repeated denial. You've been chosen, but even the chosen must choose back. This is that choosing. You thought the storm was outside of you, that the danger approached from a distance, but the fracture began within. The betrayal was seated in your silence, watered by the voices you trusted too easily, and now it flowers with thorns beneath your ribs. Every time you ignored the disquiet, every time you smiled to keep peace when peace had already abandoned the room, you chose their comfort over your calling. There is someone close who does not love you in truth. They cloak their envy in concern, but their hands twist energy like rope, binding your forward steps with threads of false loyalty. Archangel Michael says, their presence dims your clarity, their words dilute your power, their affection is a cage disguised as care. You've felt the drain each time you're near them. That ache in your chest. That weight behind your eyes. It is not tiredness, it is spiritual recoil. Your soul pulling back from what your heart has tried to rationalize for too long. The sacred was never meant to stay entangled with deception. What you allow in your space becomes part of your fate. God says, I gave you discernment, not to question love, but to recognize counterfeits masked in familiarity. This betrayal will not arrive with a shout, it has already crept in with smiles, inside shared secrets, disguised as support. And still, you wait for proof, as if betrayal always waits to show itself neatly. But Michael does not deal in proof, he deals in truth. And the truth is already here, burning beneath the surface. You saw their mask slip once, didn't you? Just long enough for a glimpse of something cold behind their eyes. You told yourself it was stress, or pain, or just a bad moment. But that wasn't a crack, it was a warning. You didn't want to believe it, so you wrapped their shadow in excuses. But now your soul screams at every silence you've kept. Every time you said, it's fine, when it wasn't. Every time you let them stay longer than they should have. This tolerance of decay has fed a betrayal that no longer hides, it has a shape, a momentum, a hunger. Archangel Michael stands behind you now, not in comfort, but in confrontation. He is not here to soothe you. He is here to expose what you've allowed too long in the name of love. He says, you were never meant to heal in the arms of the one who wounded you. And yet, even now, part of you defends them. That's the binding spell of betrayal, its venom seduces the wounded into silence. But this is not just about them anymore. This is about what you've become in the presence of your own compromise. You've played small to avoid shaking the ground. You've dimmed your own voice so theirs wouldn't sound bitter in comparison. But the heavens did not birth you to be soft soil for other people's weeds. You are holy ground. And now, the desecration must be reversed. God says, this is not punishment, it is purification. The severing will hurt, but the infection of false alliance hurts more. Your spirit cannot rise while your hands remain bound by borrowed guilt and inherited fear. There are messages you've ignored that will begin to repeat. Symbols. Numbers. Dreams that return in fragments. They are not coincidences, they are alarms. You are being shaken awake before the last gate closes. Michael's sword is raised not for vengeance, but for protection. You are not alone. but you are accountable. The eyes that watched you with hunger will turn away once you reclaim your clarity. Not because you changed, but because their grip breaks when you stop shrinking. There will be loss, but it is the kind of loss that frees you. Every mirror will now show you more than reflection, it will show you residue. Of choices made in fear. Of alignments formed in loneliness. But now the mirror becomes portal, and the version of you still bent beneath the weight of this betrayal cannot pass through. You must rise or remain. There is no third path. The breaking has begun so the healing can be chosen. And once chosen, nothing false can stay. It begins tonight, not with thunder, but with stillness so sharp it cuts. The silence around you is no longer absence, it is preparation. The realm above holds its breath, because the moment you've been postponing can no longer wait. You feel it in your bones now. The trembling that isn't fear, but awakening. The friction of your spirit grinding against every chain that still clings to you, even as your destiny claws for release. Archangel Michael says, "You must understand, this battle is not metaphor. It is happening, and your delay has summoned the enemy closer than intended. They now circle, sensing your resistance, feeding on your hesitation, masquerading as thoughts you think are your own. Every whisper that tells you to wait is laced with their poison. Every distraction, every pull toward old habits, old connections, old ways of numbing, it is their web. They do not come in shadow anymore. They wear your name, mimic your inner voice, and tempt you with comfort that costs your purpose. Michael does not plead, he commands. He stands on the threshold with flame-wrapped wings, sword lit by judgment, eyes burning through the veil. He will not cross into your realm until you choose. He honors divine law, and divine law demands permission. The swords are drawn now, and your silence is no longer safe. You've been protected up until now, sheltered in a delay woven by grace. But grace bends only so far before justice begins its descent. God says, if you knew what gathered against you, you would not delay another hour. The spirits aligned with your downfall move in silence, not because they are strong, but because you let your guard down in the name of being realistic. This is not the hour for logic. This is the hour of fire. The time of sifting. What is not forged in truth will be shattered in pressure. And the pressure is not coming, it is here. Your dreams have shifted. Colors more vivid. Places that don't exist in this world. Doors you open but never walk through. These are not dreams, they are messages. Strategies being given in symbols because your waking mind is too cluttered with noise. You must listen with more than ears now. Listen with your blood. With your breath. With the ache behind your ribs that you keep trying to medicate with routine and reason. A turning point is scheduled in the unseen. You will not see it arrive, it will pass through your life like a knife through mist. Everything after it will be marked. There will be no returning to what was. Michael stands before it, guarding your future like a sentinel of flame. But he will not fight this war for you. He was never sent to spare you, only to arm you. And the sword must be lifted from within. You feel that sword already. That tension behind your words when you try to be nice. That spark that leaps when you remember who you were before compromise set in. That holy rage that rises when you see injustice done in your presence. That is your sword. And it is time to draw it. Do not fear who you become when you stop shrinking. That version of you has been waiting beneath layers of survival, waiting for your consent to rise. The world will not recognize you, because they never truly saw you. God says, I did not make you to be manageable, I made you to be holy. Holiness burns. It does not conform. And the moment you choose truth, everything built on lies begins to quake. That is why they will resist. That is why they will say you've changed, become distant, hard, dramatic. They say this because your clarity threatens their comfort. Your rise demands their masks fall. But let them fall. Let the truth come like storm surge. Let the sword you carry split what was never meant to stay. You do not owe the past your loyalty, you owe the future your obedience. Every decision you make now echoes in realms you cannot see. You are surrounded by witnesses, some divine, some hostile, all watching. The next move will not only shape your life. It will set a signal. And that signal will draw either help or harm. Choose wisely. The winds are no longer blowing, they are screaming. The veil is in shreds. And Michael's blade is lit with the names of those he has been sent to defend. Yours is glowing. But glow turns to ash if ignored. There will be one final sign. One moment where time pauses, your breath catches, and the world seems to tilt sideways. That is the moment of decision. When it comes, do not hesitate. Do not look back. The hour opens like a wound across the sky, bleeding gold and crimson into the horizon. The final signal has arrived. You felt it just before waking, a silence so deep it rang. That was not absence. That was arrival. The heavens are no longer waiting. What hovered has now descended. You stand in the center of a spiritual reckoning, a crossroad forged in fire. And now, every step you take either feeds the flame or extinguishes your path. You already feel the heat. Not around you, but inside. That burning in your gut? That pressure in your chest? It is not anxiety. It is the flame of decision rising, purging what cannot pass into what comes next. Archangel Michael says, this is not a metaphor. This is your line in the sand. This is the hour the false must fall. And fall it will, in ways that shatter illusions, rip down masks, and leave you gasping in the smoke of everything you once thought was safe. The people who clung to you while draining you will scatter. The plans you made from fear will crumble. The parts of you that clung to delay will beg to remain hidden. But no part of you can stay untouched. The reckoning flame spares nothing. You prayed for clarity, for direction, for breakthrough, but did you expect it to come with fire? Did you believe heaven would gently rearrange what you built on sand? God says, what I have planned cannot be placed on weak foundations. If it is not true, I will tear it down myself. You are walking through fire now, not to be destroyed, but to be defined. Fire does not lie. It reveals. What burns away was never yours. What survives becomes sacred. Michael stands to your right now, blade down but eyes locked on the horizon. He has fought for you in realms you cannot name, warred for your future while you slept beneath the weight of your own denial. But the final blow must come from you. You must speak the word. End the tie. Cut the cord. Burn the bridge to the version of you that settled for less than holy. You've known this moment was coming, dreamed it, delayed it, feared it. But now it stands before you, demanding your answer. The clock does not tick. It pulses. The divine heartbeat echoes louder with each breath you take without acting. Every delay is a door closing. Every refusal is a thread cut from the tapestry being woven in your name. You are being called into your final becoming. No more scaffolding. No more shadows. No more pretending that peace can be found in places where your spirit chokes. Your body may tremble, but your soul remembers. This isn't new. This is ancient. You've done this before, in lifetimes, in realms, in dreams you forgot at birth. This rising is your return. The moment you choose, the flame will shift. It will no longer pursue you, it will carry you. It will wrap around your wounds like bandages of light. It will burn into your voice, into your eyes, into your spine. You will speak differently. See differently. Stand differently. But not before the final fear. Not before the last ghost whispers your old name in your ear and begs you to stay small. That voice is not truth. It is the echo of bondage. Let it pass. Do not follow it back. There will be a silence after the choice. A holy stillness. Like snow falling in a battlefield. You will feel it, the presence descending. The peace that costs your entire past but pays for your entire future. Michael steps back then. His task complete. Not because the war ends, but because you've picked up the sword. You've spoken the yes that splits the heavens open. And though ashes may fall around you, and some will grieve the version of you they can no longer reach, you will walk forward, untouched by the fire that consumed what was never meant to last. God says, you are chosen still, not because you are perfect, but because you answered when the sky burned and the angel knocked. That is enough. That has always been enough. You will be misunderstood. But you will be free. You will be feared by some. But you will be protected. And the flame that once felt like judgment will become your covering. Your covenant. Your crown. This is the reckoning. This is your yes. This is your rise.